So today I'm going to be talking about body image, but I wanted to talk about it specifically when we are going into our weight loss journey, while we're on the weight loss journey, and when we've hit a weight loss milestone. And then we're going to talk about realistic expectations when it comes to you attaining said body image or idea of what that body image should be.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Simple Weight Loss for Busy Moms podcast. I am your host, Amanda Ford, and I have a super fun announcement. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify or any other audio platform, I am doing my very first video episode right now. So you should stop what you're doing, pop over to YouTube, and give this episode a watch. I've been encouraging you guys to go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Simple Weight Loss for Busy Moms podcast YouTube channel for quite some time now. So this is your chance to finally do it. It's a simple way to support the podcast. And I think that especially for this episode, I thought it to be really important for you to see me. And I haven't been able to really figure out how to set up my office. This is my kitchen / office to do video. So please bear with me, give me some grace. I don't really like to be on camera, but I do think it's valuable, especially for talking about, health and wellness. So you can see that I'm just a mom, just like you. I'm not special. I'm in my kitchen. I don't have a fancy house. I'm just the normal gal in America trying to help other moms feel better, lose weight, and through simple processes, not through these insane like meal plans or crazy intense workouts. The real deal, the real science, the real me, here I am. And I also didn't want you to feel like I'm just a random person behind a mic. So finally, it's been in my goal list for like 2 years almost. The podcast is almost 2 years old in October, to be on video. And I just had to kind of overcome like all my fear and just kind of figure out how to make it happen. And so here I am. This is my first one. So if you're not watching, please go over to YouTube and watch for the first time, or just listen, but make sure that you give the YouTube channel a follow and a like and a share. As a quick reminder, if you have questions or comments, always leave them in the YouTube video comments. It could be for any episode. I don't really care if it goes with the topic
or not. It's easy for me to answer the comments in that way and to keep out of my email. It's much faster and much more efficient. If you have comments or if you want to connect with me, make sure you do that over on YouTube in the comment section of each video. I just came off I think it was 8-episode series called How to Lose Weight. It's a step-by-step, slow-paced, it's essentially a course to teach you the skills to lose weight. So weight loss is a skill. It's not something that magically happens or is blessed on someone because of their genes or their lifestyle. It's dedication, it's specific steps, it's a skill, and not everyone has that skill. And that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to teach you the skills. And I spent 8 episodes breaking it down in really simple steps for you guys. So if you haven't listened to that series and you came here looking to lose weight, you've been wanting to lose weight, start at episode 30 and give it a listen. You should listen to it once a week. Each week has a new lesson. It's meant to be slow. It's meant to be paced. This is not a fast, quick fix situation, you guys. You need to build skills. You need to practice. You need to ask questions. You need to fail. You need to try. It's literally like riding a bike. So go back and listen to the How to Lose Weight series if that's your goal, which it probably is if you're listening to this weight loss podcast for busy moms. But I was thinking, well, I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a really long time. So today we're going to be talking about body image when it comes to weight loss. And I know that speaking about body image is a really big topic and we could take it in a lot of directions, right? But I wanted to talk about it specifically when we are going into our weight loss journey, while we're on the weight loss journey, and when we've hit a weight loss milestone. So most of the time we have an idea in our mind about what our body is going to look like or should look like when we are about to lose weight, or maybe we've gotten to our first little 5-10 pounds lost. And what I've found is that a lot of women are disappointed in the way their body looks, even though they've made this huge accomplishment. Like losing 5 and 10 pounds, it may not seem like a lot of weight, but it actually is. I mean, it will completely change the way you look. Just a minimal amount of weight, 5 pounds lost, you're gonna start to see it in your face, in your waist, just really everywhere. 10 pounds, even more. Like people will say something if you lose 10 pounds. Like it's quite significant, and that's a huge win in itself. But because we're women, because we're conditioned with now with social media, you know, I'm a millennial. I remember, like, I used to be obsessed with magazines. I love fashion magazines. I wish they were still popular. I mean, like Vogue and W, and they had all the supermodels in them, and I just love the clothes. But also back in the 90s and the early 2000s, being really thin, like extra thin, which is actually coming back because of Ozempic, was the thing. And so because we see these beautiful women now on social media or in magazines that have this aesthetic, their body is super thin, we think that that's what we should look like when we lose 5 pounds, when we lose 10 pounds, or when we get to our bigger weight loss milestones. But Ariana Grande is coming to mind right now. She has an eating disorder. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, it seems like it is. That is not what I'm teaching on this podcast. We want to be able to have a realistic idea of what your body will look like. I talk about this process being extremely unique. It's not the same as your sister's. It's not going to be the same journey as your mom's, mine, your coworkers, your bestie at church. Like, it's all going to be different. You're all going to look different. And you're all going to experience this journey in a different way and experience different hardships, different wins. So, and especially when it comes around body image and what you're ultimately going to look like in the end of your weight loss journey or as you're on it. So I wanted to talk about that because when you start to lose weight and then you start to see how your body looks, you will look beautiful and you will look strong and you will look as gracious and lovely as you are now. But women kind of get stopped in their tracks because we have this, the dogs are in here just so everyone knows, and the red one's about to bark. The red golden retriever is crazy. You have this idea in your mind about what you should look like at X weight. And some of you might have that supermodel 1990s idea in your mind. Some of you might have a more athletic look in your mind. Some of you might have the idea of a specific athlete or even someone in your life that looks a specific way. You're like, I'm gonna look like that person if I lose 25 pounds, okay? I think you should hold on to some of that motivation. The person that or the body image that you are imagining is your motivation, essentially. So I'm not saying Ariana Grande's body type should motivate you, but so let's take her off the table. But someone with a healthy weight that has, and I know you have seen someone online or just in your life that's motivated you to kind of start thinking about losing weight. There's always somebody out there. It could be a famous person, it could be your neighbor, it doesn't matter. And they could be at a healthy weight, very fit, unlike Ariana Grande. She's just all over the news right now. So sorry, she's like kind of on my mind, and she's my daughter's like favorite singer. So I'm kind of like sensitive to it. I'm like, I don't want Ariana Grande to be sick. And she has such a beautiful voice. But anyway, sorry, side note. But I want you to think about who that is for you guys. So I'm going to tell you my story here in a second, and then we're going to talk about realistic expectations when it comes to you attaining said body image or idea of what that body image should be. Before we get into that though, because I just came off of the How to Lose Weight series, I want to touch on one topic, and it's a frequently asked question. And that is, how long is it going to take for me to see weight loss results? So that is based on several factors. One, how consistent are you adhering to your calorie budget? How consistent are you to that? That's the number one. the icing on the cake, if you've listened to me for a long time, is how much are you being consistent with your physical activity. So your walking routine, if you are a long-term listener, you know that I'm a big advocate of walking every day. And then the ultimate cherry and the whipped cream on top is your strength training routine. But number one, how consistent are you with your calorie budget and maintaining a calorie deficit? That will be the number one driver of how fast you lose weight, or at what rate you lose weight. I don't want to use the word fast because none of us should be doing anything quickly around here. A healthy pace of weight loss is 0.5 to 2 pounds lost per week. And so you can do the math, right? If you have 20 pounds to lose, you're doing 1 pound a week. That's how you've done your calorie budget. Because that is something that is factored into how you calculate your calorie budget and your deficit, that the rate at which you're going to lose weight. So you can do the math, right? 1 pound a week, it's going to take you 20 weeks, give or take. And that's a healthy pace of weight loss. They say that you can go up to 2 pounds per week, which you can. And especially in the beginning, if you are just starting your journey, you've never done this before, you will experience something called the whoosh effect, and your body is going to just get rid of a bunch of water. And at that point, you will be losing more than the first time I ever went on. Let me just tell you, the first time that this was way long time ago, that I did calorie tracking, the first week, I lost 8 pounds, and I was with a coach at the time, and she was like, do not get used to that. That's a bunch of water weight. That's super common. And she was absolutely right. Absolutely right. It evened out over the next couple weeks. Like the next week I lost 1 pound. So that's called the whoosh effect. But anytime after your first or second week, if you're losing more than 2 pounds, you need to start recalculating. You need to kind of rejigger your calorie budget. This episode is not about calorie budgeting. I am in the middle of creating a workbook for my listeners to teach you exactly how to calorie budget, because I've seen in my analytics and in the questions that I get and comments that I get on DMs, that is the topic that you guys need the most. I have an episode on it. I'm pretty sure it's episode 20, the power of calorie tracking. Go back and listen to it. If you're losing weight at 2 pounds, I even say 2 pounds is too fast in my mind. So if I was coaching you one-to-one, I usually stick around the 0.5 to 1 pound loss per week. I love that pace. It's not too fast. It allows your body to really recalibrate and get used to the calorie budget, and it doesn't require you to be like starving. That's the other thing. So if you want to lose weight really quickly, again, 2 pounds per week is appropriate and healthy. That's the top, that's the max. But it does require you to have a bigger calorie deficit, which is difficult to maintain. So I don't want this process to be difficult. It's really important to coach people to want to be adherent and consistent with their calorie budgeting and maintaining a calorie deficit. When it becomes hard and you're starving all the time, which happens up at the 2 pound per week range, a lot of people will quit and they're like, forget this. This is too difficult. This is not simple at that point, right? It's just frustrating and stressful. And keeping it at the lower, more realistic end allows you to eat more food. And people tend to keep the weight off longer and feel like they can maintain the calorie budget, which ultimately gets them more weight loss goals or more weight loss success, in the end. So the rate at which you lose weight, right? It depends on the math and it depends on your adherence. It also depends on your daily movement. So I've said this 1,000 times, you technically don't need to be working out to lose weight. I want you to be working out for a laundry list of other reasons. And because it does give us I'll call it the cherry on top calorie burn to help you maintain a calorie deficit. And also strength training is my baby, and we're going to be talking about body image here in a minute. We want to get that nice toned look. You need to be strength training for that reason, for the aesthetic purpose, but also for bone health, for better sleep, hormone regulation, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure you've heard all the things. You are adhering to more movement in the day, be it your daily 1 mile plus walk, which I encourage everyone to be doing. It doesn't have to be fast, just to be moving more, and or your strength training routine. That will also play into the rate at which you're going to be seeing results. So the reason I'm starting with this is that your perception of your body over your weight loss journey is based on if you are actually losing weight. And you will look at the scale and you will look at your body and you might be frustrated one week. You're like, last week I lost 1 pound, this week I lost 2 ounces. And then the third week comes, you're like, I gained a pound. So it's really the weight loss journey, like if it would be graphed, it's really like this, and it might go up. But ultimately, if you take a bird's eye view, it's going down. My husband manages our stock portfolio, and I'm always like, today it looked, the last week it looks really bad. But he goes, no, don't look at it like that. You need to zoom out and look at, the quarterly earnings or the year to date. If you zoom out, you can see. In stocks, we want it to be going up, but you can see that, oh, actually the trend is going up or the trend is going down. And so that's what I want you to think about when you're thinking about your body image, when it comes to the rate at which you're losing weight. And the rate also is just dependent on you and your genetics and your personal lifestyle. It is so unique to you, you guys, that the comparison game it'll literally burn you down. So I want you to keep this close to your heart. This process is solely unique to you. It will not, I can share my story all the time. I can share client stories, but it won't be the same for you. What will be the same is the skill set that you use. Ultimately, you're going to lose weight with the same skills, but your body's not going to look the same, and it's not going to happen at the same rate as fill in the blank, right? So that was the first thing I wanted to start with, is how fast. Everyone wants to lose weight really quickly. Well, that's not safe. We're in the age of Ozempic, Wegovy, so the GLP ones. They're in pill form now, which is highly concerning to me, because before there was a lot of hesitation about giving injections. A lot of people don't like needles, and of course we don't want to be sticking ourselves every day. So now it's in a pill, and I think more people are going to be moving towards that solution. I have a lot of reservations on that solution. If you have diabetes or something, you actually really do need that medication. I feel like that's important. Or if you're extremely obese, I'm talking 300 pounds, very heavy. I do have faith and belief that people can use basic skills. You don't need expensive medication. That's gonna make you sick, by the way. It's gonna make you foggy in the head. It's gonna make you feel like a zombie. And guess what? It's not gonna give you the skills that I teach so you can maintain the weight loss. You're completely skipping over the meat and the potatoes of the weight loss journey. You're skipping over it when you use those medications. So enough about that, but just think about your own personal needs and your lifestyle, and don't get too bogged down with how your body looks at whatever stage you are in, because you think you should be losing weight faster. And that's why I wanted to start with the rate at which we're going to be losing weight. Okay, let's talk about the aesthetic of what you think your body is going to look like when you lose weight. And this might sound kind of mean. It's not meant to be mean. It's meant to give you a gut check and reality check that, again, I'm going to keep saying this, your body is unique to you. You are not like any other, unless you're an identical twin, which is super cool, or triplet or whatever. You are not like any other human being on this planet. God made you 100% unique, and that's how this weight loss journey is going to play out. So I want to give you a little bit of a story from my perspective. So I used to live in San Diego, And in San Diego, it is like, especially in Pacific Beach, it is like workout culture, like rampant, like crazy, right? It's a beach community. It's Southern California. It's hot all the time. I mean, it's like the perfect weather. Everyone's on the beach all the time. It's just the best. If you've never lived down there or visited, it's such a magical place and so special. But it's really, the fitness culture is huge. Everyone's running, rollerblading, riding bicycles, playing soccer, football on the beach. It's a huge fitness community, and everyone goes to the gym, and just, it's like when you look around, it looks like people like just drink the water and they look just completely hot and fabulous and fit, and it's really inspiring. And when I lived there for a summer, and I remember there's these professional volleyball players that practice on the beach every day. And I'm talking like Olympic level, collegiate level volleyball players and professional volleyball players. So they play there for fun, but they also come to practice on the beach. So the reason I'm emphasizing the professional level is for the purposes of this conversation. So I remember seeing this one woman, and I swear she was one of the girls on the Olympic team. I swear she was. I can't remember her name, but it doesn't matter. Professional level volleyball players have the most incredibly fit bodies. They are in the sun all the time. They're working out in sand, right? And they also train in the gym, and they have probably nutritionists, chefs, professionals, I'm saying chefs, coaches that are monitoring everything they do. And that goes for like football players, baseball players, basketball players that are professional level. So I'm highly motivated by professional sports. I love sports. I love the dedication. I love that my husband and I joke that professional athletes get to do recess all day for their job. I love that. And they're essentially working out for like 6 hours plus a day, every day. And they have, like I've already said, probably chefs and people preparing their meals, and also doing blood work and tracking every single biometric they can, so they can optimize their performance, right? So they can be winners, so they can be champions, so they can dominate in whatever sport. So these professional volleyball players have all those things. They're also really good at volleyball, which is fun, and I'm the worst at volleyball, so I'm like, I want to do that. But anyway, this woman's body was so fit. I was just kind of like awestruck. I had never seen anything like that in person, like outside of a magazine or on TV watching sports before. I couldn't believe it. She didn't look like a man. She had a nice feminine body, but she was nice and toned, like not jiggling anywhere, like nice glutes. She had like kind of a six pack, but not really, just really nice, beautiful shape. And I remember that day I was so inspired to get back in the gym. I started going to the gym when I was 15 years old because of an injury, and that's a different story. But at the time I was in my early 20s, and I hadn't really been hitting the gym like I used to. So I was like, gosh, that is the most beautiful body I've ever seen. Like, I want to look like that. And so the reason I'm telling you this story is that, yes, if you have an image, it doesn't have to be a professional volleyball player. Like, maybe it's, I don't know, your neighbor, right? And she looks whatever way. The reason I'm sharing this story is that, yes, you or I or whoever can get the body that is similar to this professional volleyball player, or whoever you're thinking that is your inspiration, your body, physique, inspiration. But like I started the conversation with, you have to ask yourself, is that person, like, this chick like literally works out 5-6 days a week for multiple hours a day. If we all did that, we would look like her or similar to her. So when we're watching social media, if we're on the beach in Pacific Beach in San Diego seeing a professional volleyball team playing, and you're like, that's what I'm gonna look like, we have to get real with ourselves and say, that person probably has a personal chef. That person may or may not have children. That person that requires more time for you to take care of other people. This is a podcast for moms, so we have to realize like that's a lot of time to be working out and preparing meals and tracking little everything, which we do a little bit of that in When I Coach. But for this conversation, it's like this person, like her literal job is to work out and to eat healthy. That's her job. That's not my job. My job is to take care of my kids, walk my dog, clean this house, go to work for 40 plus hours a week, do all those things I just said, and wake up super freaking early so I can go to the gym. Like, it's dark outside when I go to the gym. So that's my job. If I was working out 6 hours a day, yeah, I would look like her. The moral of the story is, for this particular part of the conversation, is that we cannot compare ourselves to social media. There's so many, or people that are like at an athletic level. We can use that as inspiration, but we are moms and time is of the essence and time is precious, and we don't have 7 hours to I heard that's going away, so I should probably not do that, to work out every day, right? And we should not expect ourselves to have that much time to work out every day. Therefore, we should not expect that we're gonna have the most fit, jacked, toned, sleek and sexy body like the professional volleyball player or the 22-year-old on social media who's preaching at you to do Pilates like on your wall or something. And that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And telling you that you're gonna get a flat stomach when she has 0 children, she has probably no job. Her job is probably to make fitness content on Instagram. She's never worked 40 hours a week because like we do, because she works at her house. Maybe she has a dog to take care of, but she doesn't have 3-4 children. And she's probably not married. That adds another element too, which these are all blessings. So you need to get realistic with yourself, with your time and your ability, that yeah, you can get to that level, but it's not going to be in 12 weeks. It's not going to be in 21 days. The 21-day myth is complete BS. And I think it's kind of gone now, but it's always like transform your body in 3 weeks, 21 days. Yeah, you can get pretty epic results in 21 days. You can, but I think it's too fast and it's just not realistic. So you need to dial it back, that you can get there, but it's going to take time. And we're going to talk about the next thing. As I was talking about social media, we need to talk about one, so you're not a professional athlete. That's what inspires me, right? Or maybe your neighbor is a stay-at-home mom and she has and I'm not saying stay-at-home moms aren't busy, because I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, I know. But the example is like, maybe she just has a little bit more time to be moving more than you do, versus you going to work and sitting at your desk. It's just an example. So you need to be realistic with your expectations on how fast you're gonna get to this body image that you have in your head. And if it's actually even realistic for you, you can do anything. That I believe in you that you can, but you need to do a real gut check, right? Like, I'm not gonna look like a beach volleyball player at this point in my life. I'm 40 something years old and I'm too busy to work out at that capacity. I work out pretty hard too. So you can imagine, I work out for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then I walk for a total of 6 miles over the weekend with my dogs. So you can imagine, and I still don't look like that. So you can imagine the level of fitness and time that one has to spend to get to this body. Okay, so just get realistic with yourself. So speaking of social media, I am a crazy, insane Kardashian fangirl, okay? I loves them. And show me a meme of Kim crying and you've just made my day. Like the one where she's like, oh my God, it's so funny. But the reason I'm thinking about the Kardashians is that they are so beautiful, but they are, and you'll see if you watch the Kardashians or, people on social media that are Kardashian-esque, you'll watch the show and they always have them working out like on walks or in their gyms. And it kind of goes to what I was just talking about. Like, celebrities have a lot more time. The Kardashians have full gyms, like full complexes. That is a gym on their estates. So one, it's just across the driveway, right? So they don't have to go anywhere. They have personal trainers that come and train them. They also have chefs that create really specific meals, I guarantee you, for them to maintain their bodies the way they do. Yeah, they all have kids. The other thing is some of them didn't even have their kids, right? Their bodies haven't, I know Kim and Courtney did, but I don't know if Khloe had one and then she had a surrogate. But that's the other thing is like, our bodies, most of us, have gone through multiple pregnancies, multiple childbirths. That changes the way that your body will look forever, in a good way, right? Like I call them my battle scars. So, and the reason I'm bringing up the Kardashians is because of those things, right? Like, do you have a personal chef? Do you have a personal trainer that comes and wakes your ass up and gets you into the gym that's across your property line and then works you out for an hour and a half because you have time? And then someone makes you the perfectly plated breakfast and snack and lunch and dinner, and then you do it all over again? You probably don't, because you are responsible for all of that. So again, just be realistic with, you know, what you're looking at and what's inspiring you regarding like where you should be on your weight loss journey and what your body should look like. Keeping the Kardashians in mind, they are #1 plastic surgery connoisseurs. And I'm not hating on plastic surgery, but it also gives us a skewed idea of what our bodies should look like. So the reason I bring up Kim is because Kim has a huge booty, right? Like, I am really into strength training and I like to train my glutes. And I want my booty to be nice and strong for a lot of reasons, for lifting, stretching, walking, just taking care of my day-to-day, but also so it's nice and shapely and round. And that's just a personal preference. And I work out, like I said, multiple hours a day. And of course, my booty does not look like Kim's. Way too big, and her booty is way too big if you ask me. Sorry, Kim, but we all know that that is not a real booty, right? Every little piece of them has been nipped and tucked. Even like the inner thigh, like of Khloe, I'm assuming, just because the way I know the anatomy is, it's almost like they removed tissue, so she has that nice gap in between her legs. And again, allegedly, I don't know if that's true, but I wanted to just remind you guys that what we see on social media, what we see in magazines, a lot of these women, celebrities, a lot of these women are nipped and tucked in every single way that is imaginably possible. If you go to the surgeon, they can really do pretty much anything now. It looks beautiful. They have a beautiful shape, but it's not natural. I saw this post on social the other day. This girl, she was so pretty. She was sitting in her car. I mean, she was in her workout clothes, perfect shape, right? Like I would say like the perfect hourglass shape. I'm talking, sorry, that's my mic. It's making a lot of noise. I'm talking like head to toe, like full bombshell. She was like, everyone gives me comments about my body and my face and like how fit I am and how perfect my skin is. And she's like, I just want to let you guys know this is all plastic surgery. She's like, I work out. She's like, most of this is lasers, you know, cryo treatments, literal surgery, so nips and tucks. She's like, it's all plastic surgery. And I was so impressed by that, and I think plastic surgery is not as much of a stigma as there's not as much of a stigma as there used to be, and like people don't really care. Like people getting Botox and like blepharoplasties like crazy, or lips injection. It's not a big deal like it used to be. Back when I was younger, I think that in the 90s, I remember like, oh my gosh, yada yada yada, she got a facelift. Like nobody cares now. Like everyone's getting a facelift. But I liked that she said that because it really puts in perspective what all of us need to remember when it comes to our body image and when we're on our weight loss journey, because we think we're just in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? We got that 21 day BS in our mind. I don't know why people be saying stuff like that, but that you're gonna look like Kim Kardashian or Chloe. No, you're not. You can get there, you can get a similar body, but to get that full look, you're gonna have to go to the surgeon. So just keep that in mind. This whole conversation is just, it's not meant to demotivate you. It's meant to get your reality set that this process takes time. You're not gonna look like the person you think you're gonna look like. You're gonna look super good, but you're gonna look like you. So moving on to the idea of looking like you, I wanted to talk about genetics. Genetics play a huge role in your weight loss journey. I have said it 1,000 times already in this podcast and on this specific episode. How you progress in your weight loss journey, of course, has to do with your adherence to your plan. It also has to do with your genetics and how your metabolism functions. And some people's is a little bit slower than others, and that's not bad or good. It's just the way that God made you. So one, that will affect the rate at which you lose weight, but it also, your genetics also affect the way that you're going to look after you've lost the weight or while you're losing weight. And when I think about that girl on the beach that inspired me to start lifting weights again and like getting into the gym, she was a different ethnicity than me. I'm half black, half white. She was definitely Scandinavian, so she had a different shape than me. Even if I was at my fittest, I'd never, at my fittest, which was, I'm getting close again, but maybe like 7 years ago-ish, my absolute peak, I did not look like her. I didn't look like her. My shape was completely different. I had more curve, and I really thought that I was still not looking great because I didn't, like, I always think about this chick. She was a lot more straight lined in her shape, and she didn't have the booty that I have naturally. So there's just so much variation in the human population that there's no way that we can look exactly like our neighbor, or you are going to look like me on your weight loss journey. And it's important to remember that even if you're lifting weights and say you're following my program, you're lifting weights, you're getting strong, your shape is not going to be like my shape. The workout that I use is, I use Booty by Brett. It's a glute specific training plan. It's a full body training plan. It is absolutely the best if you want to build your glutes. But he really emphasizes that you want to build your glutes. The glutes there's genetics. Like my muscle and my booty is really long. And so instead of having, some girls have these shorter glute muscles, and so their booty kind of, once it grows, it like sticks out nice and nice. Mine doesn't do that. It's just like, I mean, it does a little bit, but it just looks different than what I imagine that it should be doing. And that's just because that's the way my body is. And that same goes for like your legs. I'm very self-conscious about my thighs. I have, my husband calls them Beyonce thighs. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think he likes Beyonce's thighs, so I'll take it as a plus. But I'm super self-conscious about wearing shorts because my thighs are really big. And I work out my legs like crazy. Like, it doesn't matter if I lighten my weights or just run, my thighs are just, they're just big. And I get it from my dad. He has big thighs. But that's what I'm saying. It's just genetics. So I always am like, okay, I'm gonna get these, like, I don't know why, like, I want these like chicken legs. I have no idea. No, strong, solid legs are healthy. That's good. That's sexy. So think about your genetics, and some of you might have never even seen the actual shape of your body. You might have been overweight your whole life, or it's been a while since you had the kids and you've never really gone back to, or past, maybe you've wanted to get more fit than you were ever, to what you looked like prior to your kids, you might not even know what your new shape looks like. So give yourself a little grace. Love the way your body looks right now. Get excited for what it's going to look like while you're on your weight loss journey. And also, when you hit that milestone and you're strong and you've got that nice toned physique, be okay with what it looks like. It might not be what you imagined, but it's going to be pretty freaking hot, and it's going to be unique to you, which is the most special thing in the whole world. You don't want to look like, I shouldn't want to look like this volleyball player. I should want to look like Amanda Ford, and be grateful for the shape that I have, because nobody else looks like me. And the other thing to remember is that just with everything, right? I used to oil paint, and I would think everything I did was terrible, and like people would be like, oh my gosh, that is the most beautiful painting I've ever seen, and I would be like, no, it's trash, I'm gonna throw it away. It's the same, or I'd be like, just take it, I don't like it, ugh, it's terrible. It's the same thing with your weight loss. You are gonna look 1,000 times better than you think you look, right? And that's just life with everything, right? Like you think that I have curly hair, it's straight right now, but I have really curly hair. It's wild. It's insane. And I've always wanted straight hair. And then when I have my hair curly, everyone's like, oh, your hair looks so good. Your hair looks so good curly. And I'm just like, no, it's terrible. I'm going to straighten it. It's the same thing with your weight loss journey. So love yourself for the shape that God gave you, and just be okay with what that outcome is. I'm sure you're gonna just be happy to lose weight. And I mean, I always love it. Like when I'm like losing weight right now, I'm not looking to, personally, I'm not looking to lose weight per se, but just kind of do a body recomposition, which means that like I'm trying to lean down with the fat and just kind of increase muscle. So a lot of times that, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, a lot of times that doesn't really move the scale much, but you look completely different, like completely different. So love yourself, you guys. Love the way you're gonna look. Oh my gosh, do you guys know I'm such a squirrel. Remember the Men's Warehouse commercial? He's always like, you're gonna love the way you're gonna look. Commercials are crazy. They get stuck in your head forever. Now that we talked about genetics and realistic expectations of social media and celebrities, professional athletes being our inspiration, which we should keep them as our inspiration. Let's talk about during your weight loss journey and something that happens when you start strength training, or when you just start losing weight without strength training. So the first thing is, let's talk about losing weight, and say you're not strength training and you've been successful with your weight loss, you've been consistent and adherent to your calorie budget, and you're losing weight. Go girl, woohoo! Depending on how much weight you have to lose, especially if you're in your 40s or late 30s, sorry, I have to keep petting her, otherwise she's gonna torture me. You may feel like, okay, I'm losing weight, but I have all this loose skin now. And especially if you have a significant amount of weight to lose, you're gonna have a lot of loose skin. And I'm sure you've seen that on people, and it's happening more too with people with Ozempic, because they're losing weight so fast and they're not working out and strength training. They're just like becoming emaciated. They're not building muscle. Because remember, you guys, another side note, strength training is not only our little cherry on top for a calorie burn, but it helps us maintain muscle mass. When we lose weight, we also lose muscle mass, and that's really important to maintain the muscle mass, and that's why we eat high protein. It's not just a fad on the internet, it has significant scientific purpose. And so having loose skin is something that you might experience. And again, that's just one of those things that's one, genetic. I carry 2 babies, and I have loose skin on my tummy that like it drives me crazy. Like I'm not even sure that I can get rid of it at this point and without going to surgery, and I'm not going to do that. So it just is what it is, and it's something that you can consider. Like if you're not lifting, strength training does help that because it does help you build muscle, which can fill in some of the space that is there with the fat loss, right? The fat's gone and the skin has been stretched. So filling it in with muscle is always a good sign. And you might not be able to fill it all in with muscle, but it definitely helps. So another plug for strength training, don't be too discouraged with having loose skin. You are going to be 10 times healthier with healthy weight loss and losing 5-10 pounds than you are right now. And that's the goal, you guys. Ultimately, I personally am not afraid to say, like, I want a strong, sexy aesthetic and body and physique. That's something that's important to me. But ultimately, the goal, you guys, is to maintain health, do our best to, keep away cancer and just general, yearly colds, just staying healthy and gaining energy. There's so many diabetes. We don't want any of that, heart disease. We can't 100% prevent all of those things, but we can do our best to try to. That's the goal. So having a little bit of loose skin, don't let that discourage you. And on the flip side, when you start strength training, you're on a weight loss journey and you start strength training, something that can happen is that you might gain a little weight. There's a few reasons why, or a couple reasons. One reason is that you are gaining muscle. We want that. We want to gain muscle. I'm going to talk about recomposition here in a minute. I kind of already talked about it, but the second reason is, and it's usually temporary, like the next day. So say you worked out really hard, your muscles actually do swell. And, like the gym rats, all of us gym goers, you want that pump. And yeah, you want that pump that looks good. That's where you can see the shape of the muscle. But that pump comes from swelling, and it's usually temporary swelling. And when there's this phase in your weight loss journey where you're losing weight and you're working out, you're strength training, you still have like this layer of fat on you, so you get the pump, but you also have that layer left, and so it kind of makes you look puffy. And so this can really stop women in their tracks. You're like, I'm working out, I was losing weight, now I'm gaining weight. It's usually only like maybe a pound or a few ounces. You're like, I look puffy, what the heck is going on? Well, what's going on is your muscles are just swelling, one, and that usually that puffiness will go away. But there is this point where you're gaining muscle faster than, because you gain muscle pretty quickly, which is really cool. But you're gaining muscle faster than you're losing the weight, the fat. And so you do have this overall kind of just like soft look, and you're like, why do I look soft? Like, I'm supposed to look like the beach volleyball player. Well, it takes time to kind of even out and recomp the body. And what that means is we're increasing muscle mass and we're decreasing the fat percentage on the body. And when we decrease the fat, then we can see the muscle more and you get more toned. And that's what we're looking for. That's what you guys all come and say, I want to look toned. I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, to do that, you have to lift heavy weight and you have to stick to your calorie budget because you're good girls, right? But there is this like funky in between where you do look soft, and it can be so frustrating. I'm actually there right now, but I've done this before a couple times, and I know that I'm at this phase where I'm about to start to look more cut, more toned. I am like, if you were to touch my body, I am solid as a rock. But from afar, like, it doesn't look like that yet. And so again, don't let that get you down. It's just part of the process, and this process takes time. And to end with circling back with how much time, I remember the first time I really got super fit. The moment that it took about 9 months for me to be somewhat satisfied with the way my body looked. 9 months, and I hadn't even gotten to where I was trying to go be yet with the way, like my weight and my physique. So 9 months is when I was starting to be like, okay. And so give yourself at least 9 months. I'm not even kidding you. You got to go through, you know, especially if you're strength training, like I was talking about, it takes time. You do build muscle quickly, but because we lose fat at such a much slower rate, it can seem like it takes forever. And you know what? It does take a really long time. I saw a post on social the other day. Again, I think it was really important post that this mom, she has like 4 kids, and she lost like at least 50 pounds. And all it said, it was a reel, and it said, how long does it take to lose weight and get super toned? That's all it said. And it was like her working out and like her losing weight and like, you know, of course, like the montage that we're all used to seeing. And then finally it was like, didn't answer, and finally it said 4 years. And at that time when it said 4 years, she was super cut. I mean, like very fit. Like she could probably have done like a physique competition. And we all don't need to be at the level of someone that's going to do a bikini or physique competition. That's not something that most people should be striving for. In fact, to get to that level, you have to do some pretty strict calorie budgeting and nutrition things that are just not feasible. They're not feasible. And people that do those competitions, you guys, they have on and off seasons. So they actually have to prepare their body in a certain way before they walk on the stage. And then after that, they kind of dial it back and they get a little bit softer. So again, things you probably don't know, and you're comparing yourself to girls that do physique competitions or professional volleyball players, track athletes. I mean, geez, those girls are so fit. They run all day. That's their job. Your job is to take care of your kids, your dogs, your house, your home, your job. Go to church. I promise there's still time for you to get to the gym and cook healthy meals and things like that. But I hope this was a reality check. Give yourself a little grace. Love the way that your body is today, no matter what phase you are in your weight loss journey. Love the way your shape is as you progress through the weight loss journey. That shape is so beautiful. It is special to you. God made it just for you, and you should be thankful for that. And give yourself some time. If you are looking for a extra toned, an extra muscular, more athletic look, give yourself a lot of time. Recomposition stage. The number on the scale really is irrelevant at that point, and it's more about visual, how your clothes are fitting, and actual measurement around the waist, the thighs, arms, and things like that to be a metric to track versus the scale. Honestly, like I know that I could lose about 10 pounds, but it's probably going to be more like 7 or 8 overall because I lift so much heavy weight. And once you get to the point where you're really just working on the way your physique looks, the number on the scale becomes irrelevant, and you'll be surprised. You might even you might look like so banging hot, like you're like, I got that beach volleyball player look. Go for you. I'm so proud of you. But chances are you could weigh more or just as much as you did when you started your weight loss journey. And that's because of just reducing fat percentage and increasing muscle. So that's kind of the advanced stage of your weight loss journey, and that's more of like a physique training. Don't even worry about that. But I do like to remind people, because I do encourage strength training, that it will fudge the number on the scale, and the number on the scale is really what's burned into women's minds as like what is the best metric of telling you that you're being successful, and it really isn't. It's data for us to track, especially if you have significant weight to lose. Honestly, I like to encourage you to take pictures, because you can really see physique changes in pictures. The number on the scale doesn't matter. I like you to take your waist measurements and your hips your hip measurements. Those are really good things to track. And also, how do your clothes feel? The way that your clothes fit is it is probably my favorite indicator if someone's successful or not. So pictures, waist measurements, how do your clothes feel? How's your energy? Those are all really important factors and success metrics that you can consider instead of the scale. And that's probably, I think I actually did an episode on that. I don't remember what episode it is. Let me see, hold on. Yeah, I did an episode on that. It's episode number 26. It's called 5 non-scale methods to track your weight loss progress. So go listen to episode 26. And I'm encouraging everyone to just give yourselves a little grace and love the body that you're in. Use the people, on social and celebrities or whoever's your body image motivator. Use the motivation, but be more motivated about how you look and how your unique physique is turning out. And that's the number one goal, is just you being you. So have a great day. This is my first video. I hope it was okay. Don't laugh at my my tower of books. These are Stephen King books from my husband's library. I need to get one of those mic arms. I am not prepared in my home office / kitchen for YouTubing, but you do what you gotta do, you guys. You gotta get creative and flexible. That's my other philosophy for weight loss. All right, catch you guys on the next one. If you haven't already, go down into the show notes. I do have some free stuff for you guys to download. It's my protein pillars meal planner, so it helps you get high protein meals in a snap. It helps you plan meals that you actually love, and it also has a list of high protein, high fiber meal items for you to pick from. I love doing my meal plans with the protein pillars. It really helps me hit my protein goals, which, you guys, again, it's not a trend, it's necessary on weight loss. It's very, very necessary. So go grab that, it's free, and subscribe, share, all the things, YouTube, and I'll see you guys on the next one.